Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back. Super Saiyan Santi back on the attack, man. I'm back on the attack, bro. No matter what, man. No matter what, 09 to 5, 24/7, all gas, no break. That's how we gonna do it, man. So, I'm back again with another take on my podcast series that I'm running now, where I'm just gaming y'all on podcasts. And this one is on the evolution of sound recording and reproduction in podcasting. Gotta touch on this topic. And once again, we're gonna do this nice, short, quick, and brief, yo. So, welcome back to the channel. If you're into podcasting or thinking starting your own very own podcast, this video is a must watch. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of sound recording, baby, and reproduction. We're going to focus on how these technologies are transforming podcasting. We'll explore the latest trends, tools, and techniques that are changing the game so you can stay ahead of the curve and create the best content possible. So this is to make sure you all understand, man. Don't listen to what they all saying out there. They trying to, people to try to put the fear in you for you not to start something new, especially when it comes to podcasts. This has been around for a long time. I want to say someone told me over 20 something years with the RSS feed, and it's been a while at the end of the day. And you don't need all the gadgets and gadgets. I got most of it. But sometimes I go down to the bare minimum. And this is what this is going to be all about. I just want to make sure that I motivate you all to start your podcast journey today. Check out my last video. It's called How to Start Podcasting in Less Than 12 Minutes. That's how you really can do it. It's really that easy. So podcasting has exploded in the recent years with millions of new shows, episodes dropping daily. But as more creators join the space, competition is getting tougher. So how do you stand out? It all starts with the quality of sound. I believe it does start with quality of sound. Quality of sound is important to the podcast game. I'm eventually going to be talking about certain microphones, what microphone I use, what microphones I have used, and which one I like. I will cover that in another series. However, sound is important. But more important in sound is, and I'm a sound engineer. I went to Full Sail University. I feel the most important thing to sound is it can be heard. It is audible. So make sure people can hear what you're delivering, and don't clip. That's really important. Don't clip. What that means.
Clipping happens when incoming audio is recorded with too much gain to the point where it distorts, and it's now permanently distorted, almost always unusable. There are rare cases where clipped audio accidentally sounds cool.
Clipping is when the sound is so high, it's like, okay, this is too loud, and I may have to lower it. And when I lower it, it still has a harsh sound. Don't make it clip. That's one thing with audio that I try not to have happen when I create my podcast and when I engineer them. Yes, it is true that your sound has to be great, but I don't want that to stop you from starting your podcast. I have shot podcasts with just recording from my Apple podcast. I've done it. There's been times where my microphones, my mixer, something goes out. Thunderstorm, power outage, the machine itself just doing something weird. And I recorded the audio with my cell phone, and I used that as my podcast audio for that portion, or maybe the entire episode, because I have lost sound via my mic and my mixers. So, and I still place it out there. And I got to say, some of those have been my best podcasts. I've gotten great numbers. I asked my peers and my friends and people that have listened, dude, why'd you listen to that one? That one sounded awful. And they don't even know what to tell me. They don't care about it. I feel like the presentation was so well, and it was so good, and the conversation was so deep, and it was audible. They were able to hear that. They just stayed along for the ride and they listened. So sound is important. Yes, it is. However, don't let it hold you back from starting your podcast. What I would suggest is you make it audible. Try not to make the sound harsh. Don't make it clip. And as you grow your podcast, you will see the sound get better. The sound will get better because you're going to buy better equipment. You're going to get better at You're going to just get better at recording. Put them 10,000 hours in. Start from today. Let's start today. The equipment you use from microphones to audio interfaces can significantly impact the clarity and the richness of your podcast. But it's not just about the gear. The environment you record in, your mic technique, and even your vocal performance all contribute to the final product. So yes, dampening sound, the space that you're in, all of that assists the sound, because you want to block out noise. One thing that as an engineer that we hate in an uncontrolled setting is the noise that's going on all around us. But I got to say something, guys, once again, for it not to bother you. With all the AI, the new microphones, the computers that we have currently, we're getting a decent sound. And I got to say, the sound on my podcast at times, I'm an audio engineer. I'm so fickle. I'm very picky. But sometimes we got to dumb it down. Have you ever met people that are, and for lack of better words, not as smart as you? You feel like, come on, this mother can't be this bright. And they're not. They're not brighter than you. But because they do, because they try, they're succeeding. They're winning. They're getting money. And you losing and you thinking too hard. Don't think this hard with podcasting. I wrote myself up a script so I can make sure that I stay on task, but I'm talking to myself too on this one. Dumb it down sometimes. It may not be that great. Put it out. Learn from it. Mr. B said every time he drops an episode, he has a group of peers that will tell him, what was good and what was not good. He'll take that information, and then the next episode, he'll work on what he took from them that he said that he felt that I had to get better at. I will get better at this that they pointed out. And then at that episode, you work on that thing. Then the next episode, you have the same group of people tell you what was great, what was not great, and then you work on that episode. And you just keep getting better with one item each time. And then eventually it'll get into your flow, and it'll all be good. But remember, it would never be perfect. It will be good, but it will never be perfect. So once you've captured your sound, the next step is reproduction, editing, mixing, and mastering your audio. This is where the magic happens. You learn how to use software like Audacity. Some people still use that. GarageBand, Logic, Adobe Audition, Pro Tools to clean up your recordings and effects and create a polished, immersive listening experience. These are digital audio workstations. These are nothing but ways for you to add or record your sound.
DAW or DAW. This is a physical analog audio workstation. This generally would consist of many different pieces of analog audio equipment such as an analog mixing console, a multi-track tape recorder, microphones, analog preamps, outboard effects processors such as delays, reverbs, compression, timecode synchronizers, monitoring equipment, editing tools such as blocks, splicing tape, razors, and many more pieces of equipment in a large variety.
I've noticed now currently with the CapCuts, with Final Cuts, the Adobe's, and then YouTube itself. How about let's talk about the social media platforms that we currently have. You can record your podcast there and download the video and the audio all at one time. You can pull that audio from the video and add it to these, as we stated, the Audacity, your GarageBand, your Adobe Audition, your Logic, your you can pull it and Pro Tools. You can extract the audio from it, and you can still mix it to a pretty decent sound. I would say doing it via social media, I've done that. And on Instagram, I got to say the sound is horrendous. If you download your live videos, or let's say if you did your podcast on a social media platform and you download it, I haven't had good experience with the sound, especially if I could just speak primarily on Instagram. I currently use StreamYard, and StreamYard has been pretty good to me. The sound quality has been good when I do pull the sound from it, and I mix it in these other digital audio workstations. DAW, that's what they stand for. You can record it on YouTube, but should you still clean the sound after you record it on these social media platforms? I tend to do it because I don't like the digital sound it provides. It sounds very robotic. But once again, one thing that I learned in college at Full Sail University, provide the sound that your listener is used to. Provide your customer the sound that they're used to. What that means, where do we listen to our music currently? Back when I was younger, it was the Walkman tape player, CD player. Then we got the MP3 player. We always had something in our hand or around our head and in our pocket. We always had that sound. So at the time, we mixed our sound to the element we used the most. And then let's not also forget, we had record players and tape players in the home. A lot more back then. I don't know how many people actually use a record player and a tape player. I know that's a niche market now. But one thing I do see, we all take our cell phones and we put it on top of a dock, and that emits to some speakers, or we Bluetooth it through our TVs. We're still using that device. I've started mixing my audio to the sound of the device. So we are a bit trained to listen to that digitized music. So that's once again why I say, don't think too hard. Record it from your phone and put it out. If you get a sound engineer, work your way to that. But create that podcast, record it with your phone. We're already used to listening to it on our devices, on our cell phone devices. You're not taking them away from what they're not used to. You get what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because I want you all to start your podcast. I don't want no one waiting to start their podcast anymore. I'm tired of that. That is over. Get it done. It's not this difficult. Current trends in podcast sound quality. According to the latest Google Trends, there's a growing emphasis on high fidelity sound in podcasting. And podcasts with crisp, clear audio are seeing higher engagement and retention rates. I can agree, as our sound has gotten better, and I've heard from people, from listeners. I always pose this question to my friends, family, and fools. Those are people you should utilize to check out the podcast, because those are people that are going to listen at first. It's going to be your friends, family, and fools, and then that couple of random people in other countries, if you know how to market it well. But draw them in. Those are listeners, and build a relationship with those people, because they're going to let you know what's good and what's not good. And shout out one of my boys, Saquon. He always lets me know if the sound is great, sounds bad. You got to find that person that's going to listen to it. And I say all that to say, yes, my listenership has increased with better sound quality. You must invest in a good mic one day. It's okay for them to know that sometimes the sound is going to be, for me, my show is called All Gas, No Break Podcast. So we keep it real. So sometimes it's just going to be a real interview. It might be on the spot. So our listeners are used to that, I believe. And that's what I gained, and that's what I got from my questionnaires that I ask and pose to my friends, my peers. I don't really do surveys, but I do gauge my peers after they listen to the show. And they let me know that, and I've heard several times the sound is great. They love the sound of the show. They can't believe the sound is so great. But once again, please, 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 I beg of you, don't let that deter you. Don't let that deter you. Use that iPhone. Now, when you start getting, when you start growing and you're getting a good fan base, and you start pitching your podcast to awards, to associations, then you're going to start checking out your sound. Make sure your sound is great. But I'm going to tell you this. If you build a fan base with just the sound from the audio in your cell phone, and you're getting paid from it, who cares what they think? They're going to give you an award. And some of your favorite podcasts on YouTube I know that they're recording the room with cell phones. I hear it. And they are nominated for several awards. And they're making millions of views on episodes sometimes in days. And they're recording the room. Or they may just have one microphone in the room. And they even have microphones placed in front of people. And they're still just recording the room with either the audio from a video camera or a cell phone. So the future of sound recording, reproduction, and podcasting is incredibly exciting. AI changed the game. We have AI-driven tools that are making it easier than ever to achieve studio quality. Start looking into that AI. Google which ones are the best for you. There's tons out there. I can't sit here and tell you that I know all of them. I've just recently started tapping into AI. And not recently, I will say maybe for the past 7 months or so, I've been on the AI game. And this, sit behind your computer and Google what can assist me. What AI tool is able to assist me with sound? What AI tool is able to assist me with such and such? Do that. There's so many things out there right now. There is no reason for you to not utilize AI.
I'm done gatekeeping. This right here that you hear right now, that's not from the mic. Mic is in my hand. I just dropped it. It's too easy to do everything off the phone these days. I promise you I don't have this plugged in. It is what it is. I'm out.
Virtual podcasting and remote recording are also becoming more seamless, thanks to advancement in real-time audio processing. I like StreamYard. StreamYard is amazing. What I can do with StreamYard, I can record on the fly, do a live video. And like I stated earlier, the sound isn't that bad with StreamYard. I was just purchasing yourself a decent microphone. At first, I'll show you the microphone that I used. I used this Blue Mute microphone at first. You all saw it at the beginning. It was okay. It did the job. I didn't like how tinny it was. I didn't like the weight that it was when placed onto a stand. So I went with this company here, the old tried and true. Sure, you can't go wrong with Shure. Sure, if you all are those that frequent concerts, you've seen Shure microphones all your life. The Shure SM57, that microphone is like industry standard for live shows. I'll have a picture of it. SM57, SM58, can't go wrong with this. So right now, I myself went with I believe this one is called the Shure SM7B. Yeah, but I want to say this is the Shure SM7B. I feel comfortable to say that that's what it is. Good microphone. You go with this microphone, you can't have no issues. I don't feel like anything is on. Let me pull it up here so you can see a little closer. Look at this microphone. If you're a solopreneur, and if you're looking at about a good I think I paid between $200 and $300, but this is a good sound. And get yourself StreamYard. Get StreamYard, get you this microphone. You'll be good to go. And I'll make another video on how I connected this microphone, to the laptop. Thank you for joining me again on this dive into the future of sound and podcasting. If you're passionate about great audio, as I am and I'm not, if you haven't gotten that from me, great audio is fantastic. I'm an audio engineer, so I know I have to sell this audio. It's not that big of a deal, guys. It is great to have good audio, but at the end of the day, I'm doing this series so you start your podcast today. Please just start it today. Use your iPhone. iPhones are amazing. If you have an iPhone 11, if you're at that stage with iPhone 11, you can still do a lot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you with a Samsung to go out and do this. The video quality is not great on the Samsung devices until you get yourself to maybe a more recent Samsung. And when I say Samsung, I'm talking about what is the Galaxies. You need to get a higher end Galaxy because you need a video if you're going to do a video podcast. So once again, listen to me when I say this. For a video podcast, I would suggest going with like a Samsung Galaxy. The sound's going to be fine, but the video quality is not great. And that's where I go. Get yourself an iPhone. The oldest you can get is iPhone 11. Great sound quality, great video quality. And then I also like the Google Pixel, starting at the 7. The Google Pixel at the 7, I want to say it's even better than the iPhone camera quality and sound quality. So there is no reason for you not to start your podcast today. And if you did want to take that sound from those devices, drop it into Logic, drop it into your Pro Tools, EQ it a bit, take off the highs and the lows. That's something we could talk about later and what that means, but you don't got to do that. You don't have to do it. Just start your podcast, please. So if you like what we talked about here, I know it was quick to the, right into the point. I just want to make sure you all start right now. That's it. Sound is important. It is great. It'll get better as you grow. As Mr. B said, every time you put out something new on YouTube, make sure that you are working on something to better the quality of your content. If you dig this, man, subscribe to the channel, please. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And tell me in the comments what sound recording trends you're more excited about, what you're most excited about. So if you're passionate about great audio, as I am, to a certain extent, I'm somewhat. I don't want you to not do this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And please tell me in the comments what sound recording trends you're most excited about. Let's keep this conversation going. Here's to creating the best podcast content ever. We're going to do it together. All gas, no break. Super Saiyan Santi, 09 to 5, 24/7. Let's keep making it happen. Peace.
Well, all right.
Say, sweet talk, what do you know about that all gas, no brakes?
Man, I heard about that all gas, no brakes. I don't think they gonna let me on. I ain't got a damn thing to talk about.
Fool, they talk about everything. This is all gas, no brakes. Don't step on the brake. Don't step on the brake. Don't step on the brake. Don't step on the brake.
Wala, my boy. Huh? Wala, my boy.